Mr. Iacocca here.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Where are you with the mayor?
Right there.
Sit down here.
Yep.
Hey, how you doing?
How many of these are you doing a day? Speeches, visits, lunches, dinners. I don't know how you do it.
Almost as better as you do television ads. We all set?
Yes, sir.
Everybody out there already? Okay, brother. Where is he? Okay. How you doing?
Fine, fine.
Good. Well, we're here this morning to help Reverend Porter reopen the soup kitchen, which is one of the more important ones on the west side, and to receive from Lee Iacocca support for our campaign against hunger. We're joined by Frank Stella on the far right from the Chamber of Commerce, and Frank has been also working, and the Chamber of Commerce has been cooperating with the city in its effort to guarantee that those who are hungry in the city be fed. And notwithstanding the observations by some in high national office that the people come to soup kitchens only because it's free and they got a pocket full of money. Now, I'm going to let Lee Iacocca tell you why he's here and what he intends to do about it.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Mayor. I'm here for just a few brief comments. I'm really here to deliver a check to the mayor. And I should start by commending the mayor for what he's done the last 11 months in so short a time with his food distribution centers, his emergency relief program. I'd like to say that I'm 40 minutes late getting here. The mayor was always on time the last 3 years when I was asking him for help for the Chrysler Corporation. And I guess when it came time to bring him some money for a change, why, I was late. But I told him the main thing is I picked up the check on the way from the airport, and I have it here to give to the mayor. I think things are looking better in Detroit, and we're starting to prosper. At Chrysler, for example, called a lot of people back to work, not enough. But I guess the point I'd make is that when I talk recovery to a lot of people in Detroit who don't have jobs say, what recovery? The recovery, unfortunately, has been very uneven for a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there in great need. They'd like a job. We hope in time we can give them those jobs. That's the important part of it. But in the interim, I think we all have an obligation. Last year, we didn't have such a good year, and we were only able to give the mayor $10,000. And this year, we've prospered to the point where I can give the mayor this morning a check for $100,000. And I'm happy to do it, and I know he'll use it wisely and continue to feed the people that really need to be fed, that need some help. They need it all year long, but especially at Christmas time. And that's basically the only reason I'm here, Mayor, and thank you for, in the name of the people of Detroit who came to our aid when we needed it, gave us a hand, and we came back through hard work, and this is just a modest repayment for that, and that's the way I'd like to present it to you, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Iacocca.
Here's your check.
And here's the check. A 1 followed by a number of zeros. I'm sure that we're all grateful to Reverend Porter for what he's done here at Holy Cross Baptist Church. Reverend, I know that in the 10 months that your soup kitchen has been open, you've literally fed thousands of people, that you ran out of money, and as a result, in response to the demand,
Right.
you opening again, we can assure you that we told you we intended to help, and this check will help us guarantee that you'll be able to operate for a few months anyhow.
Right.
In order to meet the needs that's definitely here. And maybe you would like to say something for the press at this time, or to Mr. Iacocca.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you, first of all, for your interest in your recognizing the need for the hunger here in our city. Then I certainly want to thank Mr. Iacocca for being such great philanthropist one who come to the aid of us who are in desperate need. I think the mayor knows as well as I that the black churches have been very conscious and aware of this kind of need for a long period of time, and many churches have done what they could to bring relief to the poverty-stricken area. However, we found ourselves limited because of the lack of funds. Now, the reopening here today certainly is a reawakening and a awareness of our faith in great people like Mr. Iacocca, who realized that in spite of the statement recently issued that hunger is not a real problem, we know that it is a fact. Hunger does exist, not only in Detroit, but in Michigan, and it's national for us that is concerned. And it's going to take people like you, great people, to make us provide relief for those who are hungry. We thank you very much for it.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Reverend. Mr. Stella?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor, for undertaking this major project about a year ago. And through your efforts, many individuals that were hungry, you fed them. I think this is a great tribute to you. And Reverend Porter, I know you're here because I think we did some work over here for you.
Right.
And I think you have done a magnificent job. But it is a momentous occasion when an individual like Lee Iacocca takes it upon himself to present a check, a substantial check. I know the Chamber of Commerce is very much involved in the Feed the Hungry program. They have been and working with you, Mr. Mayor, as you know. But if we can get the other members of the private sector, other companies to come forward and help, because the need is here. The need, the people that are hungry are here in this community, and it's incumbent upon all of us to take an active role and support those that are hungry and through kitchens like yours, Reverend Porter.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, may I just say make one other comment?
Certainly, Reverend.
Thank you. There have been organizations like Mobil Oil Company who made contributions to us to operate this kitchen here. And there may be other philanthropic agencies out there who are listening to us right now who would like to make a contribution to the hunger. You who have not yet fallen victim to the poverty area, we call upon you. The mayor's laughing at me, but I'm very serious. We call upon you to join in this great movement and let us provide and do something for the great need of the hunger of this land.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend. You know, I too am a Baptist. I know every Baptist preacher ends every ceremony with a collection. you
pass it up, right?
You did it just right. In fact, you took the words out of my mouth. I think that what we have here, very seriously, is indication of the outstanding response from the Detroit community across the board. Public, private, including religious groups, industry, groups like the Chamber. Labor has participated. I think this is a good occasion to indicate that we are renewing our effort of last year, again, to collect money to feed the hungry and to guarantee that no one goes cold and without shelter this year. And we will appreciate all the help that we can get. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the press on the question of hunger, as opposed to other questions? Here's the check.
Mayor, have you talked with Governor Blanchard this week about the problem of the hungry in Detroit?
Frankly, I have not. The governor, as you know, has been a little preoccupied with other questions. As soon as the legislature leaves Lansing, I'll talk to him.
Do you have any idea how much of this 100,000, Mr. Iacocca, would go to feed the hungry, and how much would go to heat homes, pay gas bills?
I wouldn't tell you. Right now, we're looking at our budget and trying to assess the need. We're going to have a meeting on Tuesday and a press conference afterwards, a meeting of our committee. I think that this 100,000 brings us up somewhere in the $300,000 mark for money on hand. I don't know how much we've expended, but certainly a couple $100,000 over the last year. And the need is greater, and we intend to move it right along.
Mayor, it was just about a week ago today that Ed Meese made his remarks about the hunger problem in this country. Would you talk a little bit about your impression that day when you first heard what he had to say about hunger?
I think first was disbelief. I thought it was a misprint. The media is not always notorious for accuracy. Excuse me, I couldn't resist.
Get that shot in, huh?
But over and above that, I don't know on what planet this man resides. You know, to the degree that he talked to the president, all you got to do, look out the window at the White House. They're serving hungry people in the park across the street from the White House. He should come to Detroit. He should come on Linwood. He should go to Chicago. He should go to New York. He should go anywhere. The hunger in America is no secret.
Would you invite Mr. Meese to Detroit?
I would invite him to Detroit, yes.
Do you have plans to do so?
Not before you mentioned it.
Would it be nice to him, Mr. Mayor?
I'm still trying to decide whether I'm going to take up the suggestion.
Mr. Mayor, during the president's press conference yesterday, he said if there are cheaters in the welfare program, there certainly could be cheaters in soup lines. What is your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is if there are cheaters anywhere, they should be ferreted out. But no one charges they constitute anything close to a majority. They're a minuscule portion. And to make the majority suffer for the misdeeds of a few, to me, is indeed a half-assed way of approaching the problem.
Mr. Iacocca, is there a specific fund this money came from, and do you think the other companies, all companies are going to follow suit?
Well, I would hope so, but we have a specific fund. Hadn't had a lot of money in it in the last 3 or 4 years, but we had enough, and we felt pretty well cleaned out our fund for the year end, and we would hope to replenish those funds and do things like this in the future as we prosper. And that's where the money came from.
I might also indicate that, I guess within the last couple of weeks, Mr. Iacocca was down to City Hall. We had a meeting involving the chief executive officers of practically all the major corporations in this area, including the big three, talking about a joint effort, again, of public-private cooperation and rebuilding the city. We got good response. Talk about a plan for downtown specifically. And this is just another example that type of cooperation extends beyond bricks and mortar and beyond plans for new buildings and even for new plants. You have to deal with the problems as they emerge, and this is a problem.
Coleman, and what about the libraries in this area? Still planning to phase down some of those, or?
We're still trying desperately. There are so many needs. I have approached some people, again, in labor and in the private sector, and I hope to be able, perhaps by Christmas, first of the year, come up with a considerable purse to help the library. But as you know, their objective is $1 million in order to avoid closing down neighborhood branches. And as I understand it, they're not even halfway there. But there has been some response, and I have the feeling, and I hate to be begging on all sides. I'm thinking of a second collection now. but I would hope that we could also meet the needs of the library.
What's your reaction to the Vista?
I don't want to discuss Vista. First of all, the procedure is not through. I think that there's been an over-discussion of it already. I don't think that the observations by the jury and the speculation on the jury have helped the course of and our ability to have a fair trial. At some point, the waters will be so poisoned that it will be impossible to have a fair trial. Some people have already been tried and found guilty in the press.
Do you still feel that it's an investigation targeted at Mayor Coleman A?
I haven't changed my feelings about anything. I just don't want to have a thing to say.
You just said quite a bit. I appreciate that.
That's the way I say nothing.
Are you suggesting that if there should be a new trial, it should be somewhere else other than Detroit?
I'm not suggesting anything, Ben, no.
You said you can't get a fair trial here.
I didn't say here. You said here.
Or you think they can get a fair trial
I said they can't get a fair trial, period.
Anyone.
Period. You're putting words in my mouth.
What about this juror that says that he knows you and Charles Beckman personally? Did that bother you when you read that, or do you know him personally?
No, don't know him from Adam. That's another thing that I'm talking about. You know, and just the pursuance of that. And here's a man, you know, who performed his duty as a juror. And he's being excoriated, he's being savaged, as if he did something wrong. He was charged as a juror to examine evidence, and if he could not, if it had not been proved to him beyond a reasonable doubt, then not to find guilty, and he did that. And I think I never heard of the audacity of someone questioning someone's morality, questioning their honesty, and even their ancestors for doing what you're supposed to do before a jury.
Mr. Mayor, as far as the water system is concerned, supporters of making it a regional system say the Vista conviction is going to make it easier for them to take over.
I don't know into whose mouth you are now putting words, but I would not even care to respond to that.
Are you worried about the Detroit Water Board system becoming a regional system as a result of this particular trial?
I have concern that the Detroit water system remain the property of the people of the city of Detroit as it has been for over 100 years. I'm not attaching any particular importance to the results of this trial.
There is a bill currently in the House right now trying to make it a regional system.
That's nothing new. There's a bill almost every year.
Mr. Iacocca, do you still feel you can talk Doug Frazier into staying on the Chrysler board another year?
I would hope so. We haven't discussed it yet, but we will shortly.
Lee, I just left Doug Chrysler, and he asked if I would ask you
Okay.
what you plan to do with what he called a disgraceful amount of money you get in Chrysler.
And he didn't want to ask me, so he sent you as his surrogate, huh? Well, when I see him, I will answer him. Yeah, even Ben Ford, the answer is the same.
Reliable messenger.
Shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
What about the Federal Trade Commission? They rule soon on this GM Toyota deal. Are your feelings still as strong and the same?
Yep. They've been mellowed somewhat by my Christmas spirit, but other than that, I still feel strongly, and I wouldn't want to. I think they may have a decision today or tomorrow, from what I hear in the papers or what I see in the papers, and I think they pretty well made their decision, and they'll come down in favor of it. But that's my speculation.
Would you have stayed on at Chrysler had you not gotten this new contract?
Oh, I don't know, for a while, certainly, sure. I have no plans other than to spend the next couple of years trying to exploit whatever gains we've made. We're out of the woods, but we still have a lot to do. And
The talk was that if you had decided to leave, the stock would plummet.
oh, I doubt that. You're speculating again.
Well, that's talking about speculating.
Yeah.
Speculating.
Going back to the GM Toyota talks, if that comes down in 2 days or so and it's in favor, what do you plan to do? Anything?
Go back to the drawing boards and,
Thank you,
and
ladies.
review what we're going to do.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Iacocca? Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you, Mayor. Bless you.
You try to give away a little money, they put you out. That's me all the time.
Lee, nice seeing you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Don't forget your check, Mayor.
What street is it? What's that side? What about that car store? Is that car store part of it? Okay. But it's vacant all the way upstairs. Want it torn down. Give me a number.
I'm gonna get right on that for you, as soon as I get downtown. Oh, you're welcome. Very good. Okay, congratulations, Mr. Churchill, that's my number. Okay, all right.